Welcome back to Mythos Meadow English, a calm corner of the internet where we explore stories, ideas, and the workings of the human mind through the beauty of English. I'm so happy you're here today. Whether you're listening in the morning, on your commute, or before bed, thank you for choosing to spend this moment with me. Here we talk about life, growth psychology, and the experiences that shape us. Every episode is an invitation to breathe, to reflect, and to understand yourself a little more deeply. Today, we're diving into a topic that touches every one of us, something that quietly shapes our productivity and emotions. So please take a seat, take a slow breath, and let your mind settle for a moment. Because today, we're talking about the science of focus, why your brain gets distracted. Sometimes it starts with something as small as a notification, a tiny vibration, a soft sound, a glowing banner. And suddenly your mind, steady moments ago, drifts away. You tell yourself, I'll just check for a second, but that second becomes minutes, and the task you meant to finish fades. If you've ever wondered, why can't I focus? This episode is for you. Before we dive into the science, let me tell you a story. A few years ago, my friend Daniel was leading a project he had dreamed about for years. But as the deadline approached, he struggled, not with ability, but with attention. He sat down ready to work, only to end up scrolling, checking messages, watching videos, and getting pulled away over and over. Each day ended in guilt and exhaustion. One night he asked, "Why can't my brain focus?" The truth is, nothing was wrong with him. His brain was simply doing what it evolved to do. For thousands of years, humans survived by staying alert. Distraction was survival. But that ancient brain now lives in a world overloaded with notifications, ads, noise, and choices, old software forced to run on a new operating system. And that mismatch creates a storm of distraction. Your brain has two attention systems: focus mode, which handles deep work, and wandering mode, which fuels creativity and exploration. Both are essential, but modern life constantly hijacks the wandering side. Every distraction spikes dopamine, teaching your brain to crave novelty. Even tiny interruptions leave attention residue, part of your mind stuck in the previous task, making deep work slower and harder. That's why you can work for hours, yet feel unproductive. Once Daniel understood this, everything changed. He made small adjustments, reducing triggers, protecting his focus windows, training his mind like a muscle. The same person who once couldn't focus for 10 minutes could suddenly work deeply for hours. Distraction isn't a personal failure, it's a biological pattern, and patterns can be changed. Here are 3 insights. Insight 1. The brain cannot multitask. It rapidly switches and loses energy. Insight 2. Dopamine makes your brain chase novelty, making small tasks feel more rewarding. Insight 3. Focus is a trainable skill, not a personality trait. Most importantly, you are not alone. Everyone today is fighting the same battle. The difference isn't who avoids distraction, that's impossible, but who learns to manage it. And that's what we'll explore next: how to rebuild focus and create an environment where your mind can finally think clearly. Focus isn't a switch, it's a dance between chemistry, environment, and emotion. Your prefrontal cortex, responsible for decision-making and focus, is powerful but fragile. Stress, lack of sleep, poor diet, and emotions weaken it, making your mind feel foggy. Meanwhile, the limbic system, your emotional brain, whispers, "This is boring. Let's find something easier." It's not laziness, it's neurological negotiation. Modern life makes this negotiation harder. Apps are designed to grab you. Notifications flash, videos autoplay, and infinite scroll keep you hooked. This isn't accidental, it's an engineered distraction. Your brain also works in cycles. Research shows we focus naturally in 20, 40-minute waves. After that, energy drops. That's why long, forced sessions rarely work. During focus bursts, neurons sync and strengthen pathways, the state we call flow. But a single glance at your phone breaks that rhythm, and it can take up to 23 minutes for your brain to fully recover. Mia, a brilliant woman I worked with, struggled to finish anything. She kept starting projects, but left many half-done. When she learned about attention residue, she said, "It feels like my brain is carrying open tabs all the time." And she was right. Every unfinished task lingers like a heavy background program. High cognitive load makes you tired faster, impatient, irritable, and easily distracted. Here's the deeper truth. Emotion affects attention more than effort. Anxiety, sadness, or stress pushes your brain into scanning mode, searching for threats. Thoughts scatter. Focus weakens. Productivity isn't just discipline, it's emotional regulation. A calm mind focuses, a stressed mind wanders. Your emotional state is deeply tied to your concentration. Imagine trying to study while thinking, "What if I fail? What if someone judges me?" Your brain treats these thoughts as threats. Your limbic system reacts almost as if you're in physical danger. Your heartbeat shifts, your breathing changes, and your prefrontal cortex loses power. That's why anxiety and distraction often come together. But this isn't a flaw, it's evolution. Your brain is trying to protect you. Understanding this means understanding yourself. Distraction isn't weakness, it's biology in the wrong environment. And once you know how your brain works, you can support it, guide it, and shape your world to work with your biology, not against it. Before we move on, let me share one more story. Hannah, a young designer, was bursting with ideas but struggled to turn them into reality. She started every day with energy, but within minutes, tiny distractions slipped in: a message, a thought, an urge to tidy, a meaningless notification. By evening, she felt drained from fighting her mind. One day, she told me, "I'm tired of living in fragments." And she was right. Distraction breaks life into scattered pieces of attention. But Hannah discovered something powerful. Focus isn't something you magically have, it's something you protect. And that protection begins with understanding the science behind your mind. So let's break down a few powerful principles, gently and clearly. 1. Your brain needs clarity, not pressure. Most people try to focus by forcing themselves, but the brain doesn't respond to pressure, it responds to clarity. When your mind doesn't know exactly what to do, it wanders. That's why the question, "What is the next actionable step?" matters. Not the whole project, just the next tiny move. Small steps reduce resistance, build momentum, and reassure your limbic system that the task is doable. 2. Your environment shapes attention more than willpower. Discipline can't beat hundreds of notifications a day. The key is making distraction inconvenient and focus convenient. Hannah did this by removing unnecessary apps, keeping her phone away, and keeping a notebook for random thoughts. A supportive environment helps your mind breathe. 3. The brain focuses best in protected time blocks. Deep focus works best in short, intentional periods. Rituals help the brain enter this state: a breath, a clear desk, a playlist, or a simple routine like Hannah's that signaled it's time to focus. Your brain needs cues, not pressure. 4. Dopamine management matters. You don't get distracted because tasks are hard, but because something else offers dopamine faster. Phones reward instantly. Meaningful work rewards later. You don't need to remove dopamine, just rebalance it. Break tasks into rewarding steps and avoid overstimulating your brain before working. 5. Closing loops frees mental space. Unfinished tasks create cognitive load, draining your attention. Finishing even tiny tasks clears mental space. Hannah felt lighter once she closed small loops. A quiet mind focuses better. 6. Focus is emotional, not just logical. You can't focus when you're overwhelmed or stressed. Your emotional and cognitive worlds are intertwined. Sometimes the best productivity tool is a reset, a walk, a breath, a pause. Focus begins long before you sit down to work. Focus is a lifestyle. We've talked so much about the brain, but now it's about you. The ability to focus isn't about becoming someone new. It's about returning to yourself. Deep focus comes from understanding your mind with kindness, learning what supports it, what calms it, and what ignites it. Treat your attention like something precious. Because it is. 1. A focused life is a life of alignment. When your actions match your values, focus becomes natural. When you're doing something meaningful, something that resonates with the deepest parts of you, the brain doesn't fight, it cooperates. It feels safe. It feels engaged. It feels alive. Distraction often appears when there's misalignment, when you're forcing yourself towards something that doesn't feel like it belongs to you, or when you're carrying emotional weight that hasn't been acknowledged. So before asking, how do I focus better? Ask, is this truly important to me? And is this where my heart actually wants to be? Because real focus begins with honesty. 2. A focused life is a life with boundaries. A focused life is built on boundaries because your attention, your energy, and your mental space are all limited, while the world around you is overflowing with unlimited tasks, information, noise, and demands. Without boundaries, your mind becomes a battlefield of competing priorities. Setting limits isn't selfish, it's strategic, a form of protection that allows your brain to function clearly. You have the right to say no, to turn things off, to choose quiet moments, and to decide who or what gets access to your mental space. Every boundary you set becomes an act of respect toward your own mind, and your brain will thank you for it. 3. A focused life is a life with self-forgiveness. Living a focused life also means forgiving yourself. You will get distracted, you will have messy days, you will lose your rhythm, and you will fall into old habits, and all of that is okay. A distracted moment doesn't erase your progress, a chaotic day doesn't define your worth, and a wandering mind doesn't mean you've failed. The most important skill is not staying focused every second, but returning to focus with compassion each time you drift away. Your brain is constantly learning. Every gentle return strengthens its pathways, and every attempt makes you more resilient. 4. A focused life is a life with rituals of care. A focused life grows from rituals of care because your brain is an organ that needs nourishment, rest, movement, sunlight, silence, and emotional warmth. It needs space to breathe. When you take care of your brain, you take care of your future. Making focus a ritual, making rest a ritual, and making clarity a ritual sends a message to your mind that it is supported and safe. These small acts of care accumulate quietly over time, and slowly they reshape who you become. 5. A focused life is a life with presence. Presence is at the heart of a focused life. Distraction pulls you out of the moment, scattering your attention in 1,000 directions and dividing you into fragments. But focus brings you back. It gathers you, grounds you, and roots you in the present. And in that presence, everything becomes richer. Your conversations, your work, your relationships, and your growth. The more present you are, the more fully alive you feel. 6. A focused life is a life with purpose. And finally, a truly focused life is one guided by purpose. When you understand why you're doing something, your brain naturally invests more energy. Purpose fuels your attention, sharpens your clarity, and gives your mind stability and direction. You don't need to know your entire life purpose, just why the next step matters, just what is meaningful right now. Purpose never has to be grand or dramatic. It only needs to be true. If you often find yourself distracted, if your mind keeps jumping from one thought to another, or if you struggle to stay present, please remember that nothing is wrong with you. Your brain is simply responding to a world that overwhelms it, and you are learning new ways to support it. Focus isn't a natural gift reserved for a few. It's a practice, a gentle partnership with your own mind, a quiet form of self-love. And the very fact that you're here, listening to this episode, already shows that you're moving in the right direction. Thank you for being here, for taking this moment for yourself, and for choosing to understand your mind more deeply. Your attention is one of the most valuable things you have, so treat it with gentleness, with kindness, and with the respect of something sacred, because it truly is.